Barista. Today, in all videos, why this one? Most of you have been sending me texts and messages asking me what makes me a professional barista, and most of you have been asking me how you can easily become professional baristas. But today, I'm going to share with you some of the principles that I follow that make me become who you see. You might see messages are sending different messages to you talking about coffee, or I teach you different techniques, different recipes on how you can easily become a better barista so that you can easily serve the best beverages. But today's video is going to be very different. That's why you see me recording it away from the machine. So the first principle, I have like 16 principles that you must follow to become very good baristas like me. Leave coffee aside. Coffee is just a complementary towards your skill, but there are those things that have to rewind you or take you through the steps of becoming a good barista. So first, we have integrity. You have to be honest. You have to have strong morals in you if you want to become a better barista. Then we have respect. Respect does not come only with the people that you're working with, but even the little boy that enters the coffee shop to ask for something, you have to accord the respect. There's a difference between respect and fear. You might not fear anyone, but you must accord respect, right from the person who cleans your place to the baristas, to the cashiers, to the managers, to your boss, and to every customer that comes in. Then the other principle is all about hygiene. Hygiene starts with you. You might think that hygiene is all about cleaning your area where you are working from. Let me say that, but that's not all. Hygiene starts with you right from home. You are a barista, you wake up in the morning, you come to your coffee shop, but you've not showered. So what order are you going to refer to your team, or which order are you going to send to your team, or which order are you going to give to your customers? Remember, this order that comes out of you, sometimes most of the people have different tastes and different smells. So when a customer gets to hear or listen an order from my body that is very negative, that customer is not going to come back, or they're going to send a comment about the team as being unhygienic right from the body. Then hygiene still comes in the coffee shop or the hotel where you are working. When you visit a toilet and you say that it's dirty, you see your cleaner is all busy. Why can't you clean it? Because if that customer comes in the toilet next to you or where you are working, the customer is going to complain about the coffee shop or the whole team, not only the cleaner. Then it comes right where you work from, where you set your beverages or where you make your production from. The place has to be hygienically clean. Remember, there are those 5 senses that we follow, which hygiene falls under. Then the other principle is all about self-control. Trust me, you have to have self-control within you. Sometimes I believe we go through stress, we are abused, we are taken over different things through which disturb us psychologically. But how do you control yourself in terms of hunger management, in terms of when you're talking to people, when you're laughing, or when you are discussing about something and it easily sparks you off? You need to have self-control in you when you are talking to your team or when you are talking to your customers. Not only that, even the people outside your environment. Then the other things baristas forget about is research. Baristas have a challenge whereby you don't research to increase on the knowledge that you have. I may not have arranged these principles to the way how they are supposed to be, but whatever principle that I spell out, please write it down. Research comes in whereby I'm a barista, people like my coffee, people like everything that I do, but when I get a question from a customer and I can't easily respond to that. Hi Frederick, hi Shadia, thank you, long time too. So research is very helpful. In recent days, I've been having interviews with different baristas, and you're like, what is the difference between specialty coffee and commercial coffee? What are the species that we have in coffee? Trust me, baristas don't have that. As long as you learn what is on the best, you forget that you might look for another job somewhere else. And once you go with only that knowledge that you are doing what? Once you only take that knowledge that you've learned from that place, then trust me, you are going to fill out an interview and you're going to lack little knowledge. Let's talk about the processes through which coffee is formed. Some of you don't know anaerobic process, but it's kind of a new process that has just come out. So most of you baristas ignore researching and just depend on the basics, whereby even if a barista comes to a professional barista, or a barista has some knowledge, they get to correctify you and you're like, no, this is supposed to be this is supposed to be this, just because you don't research, and people are leaving you behind. Then the other thing is all about production. Production comes in terms of quantity and quality. These things move with consistency. If you don't have consistency in your production, today you're serving something different, tomorrow you're serving something different, and all you do is you don't care about the people that enjoy your beverages. If the espresso has been very nice at 18 grams today, tomorrow don't put it at 18 because yesterday it was 18. Today it's going to be better at 17. 17 grams, 16 grams, 19 grams, 20 grams. So you need to mind about your production, especially when it comes to consistency. What a person likes today, let it be the same taste that the person is going to like tomorrow. So after that principle, I'm not going to talk about this or largely about these principles, because sometimes you are going to find out that if I'm to talk about that, I may not finish. I may finish them in the morning or the next day. So we are going to talk about teamwork. Most of we baristas are really have the pride that we grind coffee. This is not right. Yes, I understand I'm a barista, I grind coffee. Is it all about grinding coffee? Like you see the statement on this page. It's not all about grinding coffee. It's all about the people you are working with. How do you share your knowledge? How do they share their knowledge with you? How do you get to understand them? If a person is sick, are you there to cover them, to bridge down that gap, just in case the person is sick, just in case the person is busy, just in case there is an emergency? You need to learn a code of teamwork. Most of you baristas have that pride that for us, we just only grind coffee and we don't do anything else. You can be a cashier, you can be a cleaner, you can be a chef. It doesn't matter. Yes, flexibility. Thank you. That means flexibility. Yeah, most baristas don't have that. Then the other thing, confidence. Most of you lack confidence. Where does this all start from? It starts on with your interviews. Some of you got 4 interviews. You are not confident about the job you are seeking for. You don't have the knowledge. That takes us back to research. You don't have the ethics that a barista, or the knowledge about baristas that they're supposed to do. You get it? And you're like, no, they ask you different questions. You're not confident about what you're talking about. Let's leave the interviews alone. Let's come into the coffee shop. Yes, you're saying that you can grind coffee, but are you confident about the coffee that you are serving or you are grinding? If a customer comes in and is like, I want an espresso, are you confident enough to give that customer an espresso, knowing that the product that you're giving to that customer is 100% or 90% correct for the customer to come back the next day? The customer, you must have information about what you're selling. All that contributes to the confidence that you as a barista must attain. All these are the principles that you must follow. The other principle is all about patience. We pass through a lot of things, whereby today someone is going to fight you, tomorrow another one is going to talk about you, the other time the customer is going to send a very bad text to your shop, and you are the lead towards that problem. Sometimes we are going to get unnecessities that are really going to stress us. But how patient are you to take on that challenge? How patient are you to listen to others? How patient are you to talk to a customer, tell them that, excuse me, sir, instead of giving you this bad product because it doesn't give me the right aroma that it's supposed to produce, can you give me the right minute to, or give me 5 minutes to reproduce your coffee so that you go on with a perfect taste? So patience contributes all a lot. Then the other thing, you must have faith. Faith comes in with God, whereby most of you baristas don't pray, don't ask for the hand of God to work with you. Have you ever worked in a team whereby customers always come and they're like, Shadia, I want your coffee. They see Shadia standing on the doorway. She's not standing on the machine, and customers are like, please, Shadia, run and make me this coffee. That guy, every time, whenever I taste their coffee, it's not good. You get all those things. Those things are attributed through faith. Once you ask God to direct you, to protect you, and to guide you, always ask Him to bless you, the works of your hand. Every time you produce a cup of coffee blessed, trust me, even if it's not 100%, always customers are going to yearn for your coffee. But don't forget that only faith, only praying does not work alone. Let's go to the next principle: sense of ownership. Most of you baristas, me inclusive, it has ever happened to me, but on a short notice. We lack sense of ownership, especially when the business we are working for are not ours, whereby we are just employed. We lack the sense of ownership. Let me say, your boss is not around, your manager is not around, and you are the only person left in the shop with some small people right there. Okay, let me just send a shout out. Hi Nyakuna, hi Shadia, hi Ediga. Yeah, thank you very much. All right, we're still talking about a sense of ownership. By the way, just in case you have any other question, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. I'm going to read it after the what? After this video. Once you hold ownership of a business, even if you're not the owner, trust me, whatever you do in that business, it is going to be a reward. It is going to be a reward in your business. If you don't have a sense of ownership, whereby everything you're doing, Arabs say Kaliwali, everything you're doing is Arabs say Kaliwali. You say Kaliwali, I don't want to know, this is not my business. Let me just grind coffee. I'm here to work for 8 hours. Kalasa, I go home. I can't work for an extra hour. Yes, I understand. You can't work for an extra hour, but remember, the more you serve, the more energy you give into this coffee shop, trust me, it's going to attribute rewards in the future for you. So every barista out there working in a coffee shop, work with the mindset that that business is yours, that coffee shop is yours. When a customer comes in, you can easily serve that customer to feel like, yes, they get to ask you a question. Are you the manager of this place? Are you the boss of this place? And you're like, no. Then they get to appreciate you. They're those statements people say, and you feel like, yes, I have a sense of responsibility towards this business. Then you must be ready to learn. You must really be ready to learn. I believe most of us, we baristas, we tend not to respect people we find in the coffee shops, or people that have found us in the coffee shops. We go to schools, let me say, different barista schools. They teach us different basics. You know how to pour a V60, you know how to make a cappuccino, you know how to do this, you know how to do this, you know how to do this. Your mind is only depending on, the what? On the basics. Now you have been making commercial coffees. Now you've entered a specialty coffee and you want to transfer that knowledge into a specialty coffee. That is still not right. You get my point. You have to be ready. You have to be ready to learn the specific ingredients, recipes, anything, even the way how you have to conduct yourself in a specialty coffee shop. How are you supposed to handle customers within that environment? How are you supposed to do this? How are you supposed to do this? Learning in this industry never stops. Then the other thing, you have to, sorry, I wrote them down. You have to constantly practice. Don't just learn basics, then you stop there and you're like, I know the basics. I know how to make the tulip. I know how to make the art. I know how to make this. I know how to make this. No, my friend. The more you practice, the more you perfect in your skill. Practice on a daily basis. I want to make a swan. How do I make a swan? Let me first perfect my what? My rosetta. I practice the rosetta. I practice the rosetta. Then after, draw a line at the end of the rosetta, not in the middle, at the end. Okay, every day, like 2 days at the end. Then the third day, try to draw the line at the end, then bring back the what? The neck. That is how you're going to practice. And through practicing, watch videos, ask people. That takes us to being ready to learn. Always ask people. Don't feel proud that you don't ask people. Okay, if you can't ask, you have a phone, you have internet, research about something. Watch those videos. If you want to improve your seahorse, how are you going to practice it without asking, without researching? So through that, you need to practice daily. And through practicing, you're going to perfect. Whereby after perfecting, you are going to create something. You get it? You are going to create something. Let me say you've been practicing mojito, practicing mojito, practicing mojito, and the recipe seems to be kind of unique. Then you're like, okay, this mojito, every day we use soda water. How about we try Coca-Cola? Then you mix Coca-Cola, you order for Coca-Cola, and you're like, no, Coca-Cola is not perfect. Let's try 7-Up. Okay, 7-Up, 7-Up, 7. No, let's try. So because you practice imperfectly, it's not all about latte art. It's not about only the beverages everywhere in the hotel industry. Let me tell you something. I was working in Chile's restaurant, that is Uganda at Akasha Mall. I was new there. But guess what? They told me to clean the mirrors. At first, I was just a cleaner. They told me to clean the mirrors. When I started cleaning the mirrors, they were dirty. I was leaving them dirty. Do you know what they did? They had to employ a cleaner in Akasha Mall to come and teach me how to clean glasses. And the more he came, the more I practiced, the more I became better. So it's me now training others to clean the mirror, training others to practice their latte art, training others to be self-controlled when it comes to the mind. Then the other thing, you have to be committed. Commitment is really, really vital towards what you're doing. Some of you are not committed. What you have in mind is all about, we are working because we are baristas, we are working to get money. No. No. If you have a mindset whereby you are just working to earn money, you are in a wrong industry. But work to improve your skill. Do you know why? The more you improve your skill, the more eyes are watching you. Whenever you practice, whenever you improve, you post on social media, many eyes are watching you. So after you improve your skill, after you research, you ask questions, it does everything, then money is going to look for you. But right now you have the chance to improve your skill. Or is just improve your skill, work on improving your skill. It's a must that your boss is going to give you your basic salary. Sometimes it's going to give you an elevation in terms of overtime. Yes, that is a must. You're going to get that. You left your home to come and work for that. But you have the machines, you have the gadgets. Now work hard to improve your skill. Be ready to learn, be ready to research, be ready to do anything. Yes, I talked about research, my dear. Okay, then the other thing, attitude. Attitude in baristas is really very, very bad. You see, some of the things that we talk about, some of the the motivators that talk about things, they are talking them about experience. Attitude in baristas is really bad. We are proud because we know something. Because we are proud, we can't touch anything else. Because we know it is a skill. My friend, let's not forget something. In the hotel industry, the highly respected person is a chef. But to become a chef, it takes years and years of it becoming experienced. Chefs always come from being stewards, cooks, assistant cooks, then panier, things like that, as they accelerate to executive chefs. So let us work on our attitudes. Our attitudes as baristas. I've trained, I've worked with very many people, but I understand attitude, and it leads us to declining in our skill, in our potentials, and in our opportunities. Let us work on attitude, work with love. That takes us back to sense of ownership. Once you work with love, trust me, people are going to like what you do. But once you work with hate in someone's business, you know what you're going to do? You're going to be breaking things accidentally because you don't feel like you're doing it. You're going to break a cup. You're going to do this. You are going to find yourself saying words that you have never thought about talking. Then I think I've talked about consistency. I've talked about, consistency. I've talked about attitude. Then the other thing, let us avoid discrimination. Discrimination is very bad. I've worked with different kinds of people, different kinds of nationality, but I see a certain kind of discrimination. You are black, you are white, you guys do like this, you guys do like this. Then, not only that in the team, and then something else comes up. Just because I'm a cashier, I see a delivery guy, let me say from Jumia, from Hunger Station, from Shoka. The guy is coming, he's coming for delivery. Just because you see that he has just come for delivery, you don't respect that guy. No, that is wrong. That is wrong. Then because it's standing next to you and another customer is going to give you cash is coming, then like, excuse me, first go away. No, no, no. That kind of disrespect, that kind of discrimination, it is totally wrong when you are working. Even if it comes, to being to working with children. Just because you say kid has entered, please don't discriminate. Work well with that kid. Just because you're just a barista making coffees, that kid can take something without coffee. I've posted videos whereby I'm playing with kids. You have to be passionate. You have to make sure that every person feels at home. Once you do all those principles, those are some of the principles that I follow as a barista. That's why you ask me, Barista Andrea, I want to become like you. How can I make it? Without having integrity, respect, hygiene, self-control, research, production in terms of quality and quantity, teamwork, confidence, patience, faith, sense of ownership, ready to learn, whereby you have to ask every time, consistency in everything, practice. We have attitude, we have commitment, we have discrimination, which takes us back to respect. Those are some of the things that I follow, me as a barista, leaving coffee aside. Those are the things that upgrade me through my skill. That is when it comes back to creating. I create. I love creating. I love researching. I love asking different things. Even if I see that I have failed out onto something, I am going to give a call. Let me say I call D'Souza, I call Annette, I call Martin, I call Isaac. Some of those big baristas, I'm like, I've tried out this. It has failed. Which recipe can I try out? I've tried testing Colombia coffee. What am I going to do? It's not giving me a perfect recipe. And the guy tells you, I've tested Colombian coffee, but it's not good in V60s. In espressos. Try it out in V60s. Okay? When you try it out in V60, you're like, oh, it's coming out. Then you create a recipe for that Colombian coffee. So that's how interesting it is. You must be ready to follow some of those principles that are really going to hype you to being a very, very great barista. Then when it goes back to grinding, someone is going to ask me, how about grinding? Yes, grinding is very good, but still with grinding, you have to follow also the basics. Basics is under the principles. Follow the basics. The basics lead you to something, by the way. Right from calibration, there are basics of calibration, but through calibration, we find out different recipes. Like I told you, when I enter my coffee shop, what is the first thing I do? I first check the water source. I switch on the machine. After I start arranging my place, then when I'm going to start calibrating, someone is asking, what is calibration? Calibration basically stands for the calibration basically, it means the comparison between a measurement that is derived from a machine to the standard measurement. So how do we get to calibrate the espresso machine? You have to know the standard. Okay, espresso machine, how many pulses of water are supposed to extract the espresso? Okay, the basket, how many grams? It has 18. That basically means between 18, 19, 16, 17. Okay, I can put that coffee. Then you are trying to find consistency when it comes to the espresso. Then you're like, okay, when it comes to the grinder, is it clean? That takes us back to the hygiene. Okay, after grinding, I'm going to tamp. What are the pounds of energy that I'm going to insert onto the pack of coffee? Okay, after testing, then after doing all that, you start extracting. How many seconds? Okay, the first shot I'm going to throw it away. Then the second shot I'm going to see how many seconds are between 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, that's good. I start testing. Is it bitter? Then I adjust it to the coarse. Is it sour or is it watery? Then I adjust it to the fine. So it comes to creating something. Some of you have basics like our coffee shop sells, our coffee shop, the standard is 18. You can't, how should I say it? Trust me, coffee is not consistent. It changes daily, on a daily basis. Today in winter, tomorrow you are in summer. But me as a professional barista, I can calibrate my machine every day, constantly to give me 18 grams. Because I know how to play with a grinder, I know how to play with the espresso machine. But you as a barista, I don't believe that you can give 18 every time, 18. There are really going to be inconsistencies in your espresso. So what you need to do, try out, If it's 18 standard, yes, try out 17, 17.5, 18, 18.5, and 19, 19.5, at least within that range. When the head barista asks, okay, why are you testing it like that? Then tell him, okay, I try to figure out this and this and this. You explain, then after, tell the head barista or the person next to you to also test. If it's good, then it's ready to serve. So that's all I had for you. So just in case you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Let me first read through. Okay, hi Frederick, live from Oman. Wow. Okay. Shadia, greetings, long time. Yeah, long time too. I really missed your lectures, but great, you are back. Yeah. Sometimes in Ramadan I'm very busy. I am truly very busy, but I find ways through which I have to record videos for you that are really developmental. Sometimes I post on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. All are at Barista and Rare, so you can find different videos there. Then okay, that's being flexible. Yes, flexibility is very, very vital when it comes to the principles that you are supposed to follow. When we talk about flexibility, yes, Barista, let me say you are alone on the shift. You get one V60, or you get, yes, you get one V60, one espresso, one mojito. You have let me say French toast behind to make. It takes like 2 minutes. Okay, what comes first? Flexibility here comes in with arranging your brain. What comes first? What comes last? Don't pull a shot of espresso for cappuccino, leave it there, then you go behind to start preparing a French toast. It's going to really be bitter by the time you come back, because aeration is taking place on your, oxidization is taking place on your espresso. So that basically means it's going to become bitter. And when it blends with milk, it's going to be very, very, very bad. Seriously, it's going to be very, very bad. So flexibility is all about arranging your brain. Very soon I'll talk about, I don't know whether I talked about speed and rushing, but I think I'll record a video about, I'll be live, speed and rushing, whereby we can easily make a difference between two. The causes and process of speed, the causes and process of what? Of rushing. Those are two different things. So that is flexibility. Are you able to be a cashier? Are you able to grind coffee? Are you able to make a cake? Are you able to do this? And still that takes me somewhere. Most of the barista, with their attitude and thinking that, yes, we are only baristas, I can't do something else. No, my friend, teamwork comes in still, whereby most of you baristas are told to do some things in the coffee shop and you refuse. That is not right. Sometimes you need to bring out an element. Yes, I understand you signed a contract, but a contract is something, it's a paper. It's a paper that anyone can tow. Tear. You get it? So, please don't refuse, because it's a team. You need to stand with your boss, you need to stand with your managers and the team at large to serve the best. I don't want a customer to come see you standing just because you're barista and you don't have any order for cappuccino, but you can't help a person to serve a cake just because for you are there to grind coffee. That is not right. A contract is a contract. And remember, after that job, you are going to need a recommendation from that boss or from that manager or from the team. But what element are you leaving in that coffee shop? Are they going to give you a positive feedback or recommendation or a negative recommendation? You have to think about all those things. Sacrifice, even if it's 30 minutes out of the 8 hours. 1 hour, yes, talk to the manager and tell him, I've worked one more extra hour. Is it okay if you give me overtime? No manager is going to refuse as long as you explain to them. Because me personally, I can't leave my team when they are busy. However much I work for 8 hours. We have very, very many branches, but I take on the time, even if I go to another branch, and I go to buy a cup of coffee, cappuccino, and I see that one barista is very busy. It comes back to my mind that I work for this company. I'll first tell him where to make my cappuccino. I go inside. I make sure that I am served last when we have served this customers, however much I am not working on that day. That is the service. That is the recommendation that you are going to get from your boss. Some of you are working in Gulf countries and you're like, our bosses are bad, our bosses are bad, our bosses are bad. Trust me. It depends on the person you find, but I found a team whereby these people are good. They are only negative once you are negative. Once you have a negative mind, most of you come from your countries and you're like, you've been told stories. These people are bad, they're not going to pay you. And it stacks in your brain and you're like, no, they're not going to pay me. No, it's you now making a transparency to those people on becoming bad. So we have to learn all these things. Okay, let me quickly rush. Okay. Yes, we finished. Hi, Edgar. How are you? Hey, bro. Big ups and well done. Happy Easter. Oh, you see, when we come to these countries, we forget that Easter, Christmas, but happy Easter too. Shadia says, for sure, Allah first, and everything will be smooth. That is right. Hi, Aida, how are you? Then Shadia still says, true, and Al-Bab will not want you to leave at the end of the contract. Yeah, Al-Bab, I think, means the boss. Yeah, once you work in that manner, following those principles, trust me, the boss is really going to love you and they're going to increase your pay, not forgetting that they will give you a good recommendation. Then we Africans are selfish. Wow, that is right. somehow that is right, because we have the other heart that, anyway, because if you work with Philippines, you see them working together, you see Nepalese working together. I work with Ugandans, but the Ugandans I work with, I don't know from their side when it comes to me, because I'm a very tough head barista. I'm a very tough barista who follows principles, because no barista is liked in most cases. We follow principles. Sometimes we wouldn't love to see something bad happening. Sometimes we wouldn't love to see different things. But when we talk about selfishness, it comes somewhere. Then Frederick says horse is a big problem to me. When you want to make a horse, a perfect horse, what I can ask you, first perfect your rosetta. A horse is all about creating nice rosettas. You get it? So you bring on the left side a rosetta, you make a wing. Right side rosetta, you make a wing. Then in the middle, make a rosetta and twist your cup. Now, most of you don't know how to twist your cups. I have like a video on my channel that says how to hold a cup. Once you hold it, remember it's the wrist that moves, not the whole hand. So after those 3 rosettas, you have to twist the hand. Then make the stomach, then finish up with the what? Finish up with the tail, the legs, and the head. Simple. Just practice daily. It will come out. What can I do? I think I've responded to you. Then it all comes with passion. Wow, that's right. Also research, that's right, Shadia. I know what you're talking about. Oh, have friends, but when you ask for something like what you want to learn, they're not willing to share. Shadia, what I can tell you is that we are different people. Once you work with the right people, trust me, they're really going to be beneficial to you. But once you work with the wrong group, trust me, once I say that I'm working with the wrong group, I try looking for another job. That's with me. So people are different. So if you say that you're working with the people who are not willing to share, feel free. Ask me questions. Go to my Instagram. Go to my TikTok. Go to my Facebook. If you want my WhatsApp number, still I can text it there, whereby you can easily reach me out and ask me different questions like what other baristas do. So every day I have bot team calls, people asking me, and I am free to respond to them. Then Wasa Farouk watching from Doha. Wow, nice. Oman, this is really great. Please, can you elaborate more on under extraction and over extraction of the espresso? Okay. Now, sometimes, remember, we have a basic whereby an espresso is extracted within different seconds. And we have what we call, different seconds. Now, a perfect espresso would say it's extracted between 20 to 30 seconds. 20 to 30 seconds. But sometimes, depending on the density of the coffee that you have, depending on the freshness of the coffee that you have, you might find yourself elevating to 31, 32, or 33. Because let me say, my coffee, the older it gets, I have to make an over extraction. So between 20 and 30, once an espresso is extracted below 20, we call that under extraction. And once it's extracted above 30, we call that over extraction. You get it? So we say, let me say 18. An espresso goes with a ratio of 1 to 2. So we have 18 grams. That basically means it's supposed to be 36, between 35 to 37. But on standard, they say 36. So if your espresso on 18 grams extracts with a yield of 30 mils, that is under extraction. And if your espresso extracts over the 36, which goes to 40, 45, that basically means it is over extraction. And under extraction, most times it causes bitterness, it causes high acidity levels, sometimes a heavy body. It's not all that medium or well balanced, it causes a heavy body. Then with over extraction, you're going to find out that the espresso is salty, it has it's light body, it has that lime taste, different, but mostly watery. You get my point. So I don't know whether I've elaborated it, but I think we shall record another video about it. Then Edgar says, Barista Andrea, when do we, sorry about the camera, I'm holding the phone, not in the hands, not on the tripod. Then Edgar says, Barista Andrea, when do we use high temperatures of water when extracting or brewing coffee? A shot of espresso on standard is extracted at 94 degrees Celsius. That is espresso. So sometimes if it's below, you're going to find out that it's taking too much time, and the extraction process is really going to be either very bitter and strong due to the fact that when cold water or when a low temperature gets intact with a coffee pack, it is really going to be bitter because it's getting aerated at the same time. But the high temperatures are really going to carry out a very quick immersion process through which, let me say you're making a V60, it's going to carry out a quick immersion process whereby there is going to occur a quick gravitational force that pulls down the water through the coffee pack down into the vessel. So we are advised to use high temperatures when you are brewing coffee, but you can easily use low temperatures, let me say in negatives, iced water, when you're making cold brews. And cold brews, not every cold brew, because this ice V60 is a cold brew, but these cold brews like the Atiyamo Tower, when you're using ice and water, it extracts or it's infused or it's brewed for 12 to 23 hours, different kinds of, when you're keeping something in the fridge. But when it comes to dealing with the coffee and you need a quick thing, you have to use high temperatures. Craft brews, you have to use between 85 to 95, depending on your customers, because some customers love extra hot. So when it's extra hot, that means you can take it to 100 degrees Celsius. But when it's a normal temperature, you must follow the standard, Mr. Edgar. Shadia, this week I'm hoping to have interviews and I'm just joining as a junior barista. Please, what are some of the questions mostly asked? Some of the questions mostly asked when you go for an interview, first, they're going to ask you about the different kinds of coffees that we have, the coffee species, whereby we have Arabica, Robusta, Liberica, and any other coffee species. Then they might ask you about the processes through which coffee is made. Wet process, dry process, honey process, semi-washed process. Then we have anaerobic process. Then still they might ask you, because when you go for an interview, they're not going to only ask you about coffee. But still, when it comes to coffee, they're going to ask you about calibration. How do you calibrate? They're going to ask you the grammage, the standard grammages of espresso. They're going to ask you about the hygiene, how you can clean. Some of it, remember, it's practical. They're going to take you to an espresso machine. They tell you, start extracting an espresso. After extracting, they'll tell you to test, evaluate it. What do you get? Things like that. Then they're going to tell you, make us one cappuccino or cafe latte. Then still, through that, they're going to ask you, what drinks can you easily make? You get my point. You can make Americano, cappuccino, iced beverages, hot beverages, different things. You get it? Then still they are going to ask you about how do you control difficult situations. You get it? Can you easily engage into this difficulties, and how do you easily control those difficulties? Things like that. So it's a well-rounded, it's like an interview, a normal interview, but mostly it is a practical one. Some of them can tell you even to come create something. They give you recipes, they give you syrups, they give you lemon, mint, and they tell you create us one drink. Simple. It's technical and it's practical. So it's all about how you test when it comes to espresso evaluation. So you need to understand some of the basics. I don't know whether you are getting me, but basically that's all. And make some research. Make research about what difference between commercial and specialty coffee. What is specialty coffee? By the way, what is specialty coffee? Most of the people don't know it. I even ask the baristas that I work with, but they don't know it. But if someone is to ask me what is specialty coffee is that coffee that scores above 80%, and below 80, that is commercial coffee. Simple. To me, that's how I respond to that. But if they want me to get into the processes, that's when it comes in, right from the farmer. They use hand-picked, not strip-picked. Then it depends on what process they're going to use. Then when they take it to the roastery, it's roasted, it's cupped. But that basically means they're going to use Arabica coffee when it comes to specialty coffee. So those are just some of the hints. But all you need to do, learn the basics when you're going for the interview. And by the way, confidence matters a lot. If you don't know something, tell them you don't know. If you know something, be confident about it in your response. Don't stammer. I know this, I don't know. But you have to make sure that you tell them that you are willing to learn. You are ready to learn. You get it? You must tell them that. Don't forget. And show them that you really want to learn something. It's all about confidence and how you respond. Beat them psychologically. Then yes, I get, thanks. Okay, do a video of seahorse so that we can learn step by step. Okay, I think I'll do that. Because with the latte arts, sometimes I post them on my Instagram page. Yeah, I post them. So just in case there is no other question, why don't I sleep? Because right now here it's 2:30, and I think I'll need to give it a little rest. Wow. So guys, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Okay, Frederick says my espresso is extracted at 93 Celsius. I used 20 grams to extract 39 to 40, but I wonder why it takes 30 seconds and yield of and the yield of 37 to 38. How can I fix this? Okay. Now, Frederick, we need to understand your portafilter. You see, these portafilters have numbers. You're going to find it that it has 18, 19, 20, 16, 14. You need to understand your portafilter. So once it has 20, you can't put coffee beyond 21. You get my point? Then once it has 18, you can't put coffee beyond once it has 18, you can't put coffee beyond 18. So sometimes it depends. These things are really, really complicated. You get it, Frederick? Whereby the yield is good. 39. Once you have the temperature, it's okay, but you can adjust it by 1, because sometimes at 93, this might cause it. So try extracting it at 94 degrees Celsius or 94.5 degrees Celsius to see whether it's going to change. And if it doesn't change, or if it doesn't improve, but 100% I know that it's going to improve. But if it doesn't improve, then I wonder why it takes 30 seconds. Okay. Then if it doesn't improve, what are we going to do to eliminate the 36 seconds? Because that is too much. It's like you're trying to extract a lungo. By the way, it depends on someone's recipe. I don't want to disturb your recipe, yet it's the recipe that the company wants. But try adjusting it. Sometimes, yes, I might use 20 grams of coffee. And when it comes to extracting it, sometimes it might delay. It might delay due to different reasons, due to the weather that is going to make it a little bit finer, and it's going to make it's going to pass through 31 to 36 seconds, whereby you just need, if you have an automatic grinder, take it to the coarse side, let the coffee slightly expand. When it expands, or after expanding, then reduce on the grammage. You see, these things are really funny. Once you see that coffee is very fine and you want to maintain the grammage, the 20 grammages, and you see that it's elevating to 36 seconds, take it to the course side. After taking it to the course side, reduce a little of your of your coffee, because remember, the more you take it to the course side, the more the coffee expands, and the more it expands, the easier the water passes through. You get it? So that you can easily get a perfect shot. So when you take it to the course side, reduce to remove that elevation within the grammage or within the density of the coffee. Then after doing that, still tamp it. Don't use too much energy while you are tamping. If you're using an automatic grinder, reduce on the pounds that it tamps. It might go up to 30, put it to 25 or 26 or 27 to try out and see if it's not going to take long. Because even tamping may cause that. Then the yield is 37, 30 or 38. When you extracting, or when you're trying to extract a shot of espresso out of the 20 grams, it doesn't have to be the exact, because sometimes I may calibrate my machine to give me 270 pulses of water. But remember, when I'm stopping it, when it reaches at 270 and I stop it, when I immediately stop it, it's not going to immediately cut off the water. There is that water that's still going to be coming out, which is going to either elevate it to 41 or 42, or if you stop it, if you see that the grammage is about and it has reached 38, immediately locates to 38, stop it, then that remaining water, let it fall to raise to 40 grams. Then sometimes still, Nyakuna, sometimes when your machine is overworked on a daily basis, trust me, you need to recalibrate it on a weekly basis, or after 3 days. You really need to recalibrate it, because remember, once water passes there on a daily basis, we get different changes in the machines, because these machines, the more it works, the more it changes. The more the weather affects it, the more it changes. So coffee is complicated. We really can't state out any reason, any given reason that is really going to do it, that is really going to be that exact reason. But once you try out that, trust me, it's really going to be very, very nice for you. Then Shadia says, you really inspired me. You don't know, but me, I salute you. Wow. Thank you very much, Shadia. Thank you very much. By the way, you guys also inspire me. Whoever clicks and watches every single video of mine, you guys really inspire me. And this year, I am planning to start up something in my country, Uganda, whereby I want to start up a place whereby we are going to be training. It's going to be a serving place to the customers. Any person who wants studying about coffee, any person who wants to study about service, how do I make it to be a professional barista, I'll be passing on an advert, and you guys will feel free to contact me or put a contact there for the school or for the restaurant or for the cafe, depending on what we shall start, so that you guys don't not only come to the school to study about coffee, but still you come to the school to study about the conduct, the principles that one has to follow to become a better barista. The service is really going to be more of practical, more of internship. How do you serve the coffee? How do you speak to the customer? So that we eliminate of the pride that most of the baristas live with the school. So we shall be starting it up in around 3 to 4 months. Then we shall be passing on an advert. So please make sure that you get to support me when we get to open up something like that, so that you guys come and start learning. And however much you are in your countries, please, you have a problem, give me a video call. I'll be helping you out. Or just in case you come back at my home and you find that I have started the place, please feel free to come back for your vacation, pass my coffee shop or restaurant or anything that I'll be starting up, so that we share different ideas and you go back with a well packaged mind. But that will be costing us something at least, so that we can easily build up a very nice school. Or Tawio or Lutunji. Tawi, I don't know whether I'm spelling it out very nicely. All right, please, Barista Andrea, you need to teach us how to calibrate espresso machine. I am new. Okay, then I have some videos about calibrating, how to use a Lamazoko, because when you see a video of mine saying how to use this machine, that basically means I am teaching you how to calibrate that machine. But right now I'm using a 3-group head Lamazoko. I'll record a video on how you can easily calibrate your machine. Most of you think that calibration is all about calibrating the grinder. No, 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 no. It's all about calibrating any machine that comes your way. Even if you're a chef, how do you calibrate? You calibrate by changing the temperatures. You calibrate by having the perfect steam within the machine. You calibrate by having the perfect temperature within the machine. So any machine, even if it's a laptop, even if it's a phone, these things are all calibrated so that they are taken back to what we need or what we desire or what we are waiting for. Then Shadia, I can't wait to send you my siblings in Uganda. Oh, I'll inbox you, inshallah. Wow, thank you, Shadia. I'll be passing on a notice to every social handle of mine. So guys, I think, wow, 50 minutes, almost 1 hour I have been talking, because when we talk about coffee, we might not stop. So the next video, I'm going to be talking about head baristas, things that we face, things that we enjoy, how you create, how you're supposed to govern people, how you're supposed to control your mind, head baristas. And even if you're not a head barista, you need to come and listen to things that head baristas want. You get my point? So within this week or the next Sunday, I'll be recording a video about head baristas. So any head barista, supervisor, manager, you need to be on next week's video, because it's really going to be very, very important. The information that I'm going to pass on, right from how you have to handle your team, yourself, which side you are supposed to go, how you're supposed to handle someone's business when it comes to creating sales, all those things. And I think we also need to discuss about the 5 principles in the hotel industry that every person is supposed to follow. The 5 senses. You might know that listening, smelling, tasting, hearing, feeling are the 5 senses, but I am going to induct them. I am going to explain more and more so that you get to understand how these 5 senses can help your coffee shop to creating more sales. I think, just in case you don't have any other question, why can't I sleep? David is saying, how are you, bro? Yes, David, I'm very, 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 very fine. I'm very fine. By the way, you guys really inspire me every time you send a message, every time you send a text. That's good. And by the way, this channel, many of you have been asking me how you can easily support me, because we want to start up something. This channel, you can become a member, whereby there is a button there where you can easily press and you say you are contributing towards something, because we need to support our farmers. We need to start up a school whereby we share different knowledge. I am not that barista who says, when a person asks me and you're like, no, I'm not going to give you my information. I'm not that kind of barista. So just in case you want to support our channel, or you want to support the goal that we want to have after 4 months, feel free to become a member to this channel. And trust me, you get all the notifications, the shout outs, and just in case you have your business, still I can help you pass it on my different social media handles. I think, allow me wish you a good morning and a good night, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And to the brothers and sisters of ours in Ramadan, allow me say, may Allah reward you through this Ramadan period, and may you, all the Christians, be blessed after this Easter. So let's look forward to following those principles as we baristas, just in case you want to become like me, or you can easily become better than me. That's what I can say. See you in another video. I love you all. Mwah.